It's time for Who Watch, Time and Relative Blackness in Space.
Have the box.
Hi everyone, it's Bayana, Connie, and Robin coming to you live from the Time Vortex.
We're continuing our Blue Ballot Box series where we discuss one episode from each season of New Who based on our nominations and your votes. Today we're discussing episode 10 of Doctor Who Season 5, Vincent and the Doctor. In this episode, the Doctor is the Minister of Art and Artiness. Amy doesn't know why she is sad, or that she even is sad, and Vincent adds to his pile of good things.
First things first, y'all are fake.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is the 5th one.
You gotta get your campaign up, Robin.
I got busy.
I'm just saying. That's what happens.
Y'all are fake.
I'm just saying that's what happens.
The 11 hours is a solid episode, and nobody wants constants in these fields. The hell is wrong with y'all? You need to know what you're voting for. You're not voting to watch the thing. You can watch Vincent and the Doctor on your own. You're voting for what you want to hear us talk about. And if you want to hear content do this bullshit, y'all are fake. It's fully fake.
Well, if you put that much effort into campaigning, we might be watching Vincent. We might be.
It just, I mean, the game is the game.
Fake.
So, what are your feels on this episode, Robin?
I love this episode. It's my favorite episode ever.
You had to get that out.
I just had to get that. I did not want to talk about it with you.
Well, dang.
What? Dang what?
Well, dang.
Dang what, Constance?
Just dang.
You know.
I mean, I was going to say, you know who you are.
And you know who I am.
Which is why I didn't choose this episode.
She's saying that's why she didn't do it. That's why she said, you know what? Perhaps not.
Listen. The listeners gave us their choice. And here we are.
And I'm just saying we might need new listeners.
Well,
so there I am.
The haterade is real. The haterade is real. At the end, we'll figure out if Robin will win one next time.
I'm not even trying anymore. I'm going for defeated.
What?
We got 5 more seasons. 6 more seasons.
Defeated.
We got 6 more seasons.
This is my season, though. This is my Doctor. If I didn't win season, I don't care anymore. Defeated. The hose doth unloyal be.
We can't have Connie win next time, so you got to do a little something.
What's next one?
We'll get to it at the end. It's fine.
I don't even know.
Don't nobody want to watch what Connie voted for. I would just say that. Okay. Anyway, Vincent and the Doctor.
So this is in the wake of Rory being sucked up by the crack in the universe.
Wasn't he killed first?
Huh?
Or did he just get sucked in? I can't remember. It's been a minute since I watched those episodes.
He got shot, and then he got sucked up.
Got it. Okay.
So he was going to just die, and she was going to be sad. But then the universe was like, even better, don't remember him at all. How about that?
Yep.
Yikes.
Which, to be fair,
it's kind of better.
I was going to say, I mean, she out here, she's...
better to have loved and lost.
Girl, French summer. You know what I mean? She's out here on the French countryside.
I thought you were going to say...
Getting proposed to. So I just feel like...
French girl summer. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Hot girl summer.
I said hot girl French summer, but that doesn't, it doesn't roll off the tongue.
Right, yeah,
but y'all know what I mean.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
We're going to get
Rory's gone. He may be gone, like R.I.P., but, she living her life.
She don't even know that he...
Hot time travel summer.
R.I.P., so... Yep. So the doctor's, like, taking Amy around lots of places to, like, distract her and, you know, show off and stuff. So they go to the Musée d'Orsay in France and visit the Van Gogh exhibit, which is sort of interesting because it's like such a it's like the normal thing. It's like a thing they can just do. Like, you don't need to be a time traveler to get to that part. So he's just like, let's just go back home and, you know, to your time and just take you to
the best museum that has ever existed in the history of museums. The Musée d'Orsay is a museum that was created out of an empty, it used to be a train station. So it's an empty, like, train station. And so it's got these big, beautiful rounded ceilings with glass. It's like fucking King's Cross Station when Harry Potter died, but it was all clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is beautiful. And then the Rodin exhibit, and then the Van Gogh exhibit, and it's just like, ah! And so if you have a machine that travels in space and time, basically you can operate somewhere, and you think your friend needs some cheering up, you go to the fucking Musée d'Orsay. Shit is lit. I want to go back. Oh.
Okay. All right.
I mean, honestly, I get it. I like, I would like to see it. You know what I mean? But and I think too, it's like, I feel like also the doctor, like, on top of trying to cheer her up, I think he also feels guilty. So I think he's also it's like his way of saying sorry without saying sorry because he can't say it.
Because you don't know what he's sorry for.
Because she doesn't know what he's sorry for, so she's just kind of like
2004, but you know.
So Amy's like, "Why are you being so nice to me?" And he's like, "We're friends. I can't be nice to my friends. Why?" And then she's like, "That was weird. You're being weird."
Because it's like, you can be nice, but like, it's a different kind of nice. It's not, but also it's not like he never is nice to her. It's just, there's a difference between somebody just being like, oh, we're homies, we're hanging out, we're chilling, and being like, I'm going to take you to this cool place, and I'm going to take you to that cool place. And you're like,
in the universe.
And it's not even like the cool places that are like, the doctor is like, I'm going to take you places. It's going to be some crazy ass planet where some shit's getting shot up. I'm taking you where you want to go. Right. And that's when she's
what
like,
are you trying to see? What's going on with, you know what I mean? It's very like, he's landed on thick. And so she's like, okay, what's up?
Right.
Yeah.
And so they meet, they're like looking at the Van Gogh exhibit because, you know, us Americans, I guess, say things terribly. So I was like, oh, it's not Van Gogh. Great.
I don't know. My art teacher in the third grade called it Van Gogh. I'm going to call it Van Gogh.
That's his name, though. That's not his name.
So we see the works of Vincent at the museum, and Bill Nighy is randomly in this episode. Apparently, he's not even credited.
Weird. He's not credited?
I don't think so.
Really?
That's what the wiki said. That he's not actually credited for being in this episode, even though he has mad lines.
That's what I was going to say. That's weird.
It's also the weirdest, like, role to give Bill Nighy. Like, every time I watch it, I'm always like, why are you here doing this?
Yeah.
Like, he should be playing Van Gogh. Like, well, he shouldn't be, but
he could be.
Like, he should, if he's gonna be in Doctor Who,
right?
He's like, yeah, I'll just be the museum guide.
I mean, you know, he was like, I mean, wasn't he like salty that he was like the only British actor not in Harry Potter, and then he got Scrimgeour, and he was like, for sure, I got like a monologue, and that's it. It's fine. We good. He probably just like, I'm out here. I just have to say that I was in it. You know what I mean?
Right. He's like, I just need the IMDb credit.
Yeah.
Just run me my thing.
Yeah.
Right, like, I just want to be here. He's just happy to be here.
I only want to be here for a day.
Right. He was like, I don't have time for this.
Right.
I don't actually have time for this, but I really want to do it, so let me just show up. Hold on. Well, now I'm looking it up. Bill Nighy appears uncredited as the Musée d'Orsay's expert on Van Gogh. Nighy was rumored to have been... No. In the episode, they say with an like a F sound. Bill
Nighy does the sound.
Van Gogh.
Like Van Gogh.
Yeah.
And then they're saying Van Gogh like it's golf.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of different things happening.
Yeah, and we're American. Van Gogh.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what is the truth? I'm going to just say what I know until I learn the truth.
Anyway, Nye was rumored to have been considered for the role of the Ninth Doctor when the show was revived. Campbell stated that they were very fortunate to have Nye in the role, who he believed was someone people paid attention to, and the audience needed to pay attention to his character, as he said facts, which would become important later in the story. And that's all it says. So there's, like, no, like, oh my goodness, Nye really was like, I love Doctor Who and wanted to... Like, there's no reasoning for why it's uncredited. That's fascinating to me. So Vincent is a painter. Vinny. My pal Vinny. They notice a mysterious figure in one of the paintings, and I guess they've seen it enough, just like ever, to know that it doesn't belong there. And the Doctor's like, hurry up, tell me when this painting was made. And I'm like, you have a time machine, sir. What is the rush?
Well, because I get it. Yeah.
Right, on his end, it's just...
On his end.
Yeah.
He just got to put in the right date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just like, hurry up, tell me.
I was like, hurry up, because there's a monster. But I get what you're saying now.
Right. Anyway, so they go to the year that the painting was painted, which is a year before Van Gogh dies, and they meet Vincent van Gogh. He is a ginge. He is real into Amy, and he's a drunk. Yikes. And he's poor.
Like, when they meet, it's so funny though to see him
drunk.
Like.
I mean, he's a drunk, saying, but he's not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not that like, but that's what that's what I was gonna say. It's really interesting that Amy and the Doctor see him and they're like, yo, like Amy's like, that's him. Out. Oh my God. They're like freaking out. And everybody else is like, this? Him? You gonna pay for his drink?
Like, for what?
Why?
Yeah, you want his painting? He was famously underappreciated in life.
Right.
And
but I think it's funny, it's like a good like kind of contrast of like everyone else around him being like, you ain't shit, and then Amy and the Doctor come they come through like, yo, you the best. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, you the greatest to ever do it. And he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Like, you want to talk to me? Like, for what?
Yeah. So it's in 1889 that they go. I feel like I'm not. This is why I didn't want to do this episode. Because I just want to geek out about Van Gogh.
Which is why we should do this episode. Like,
no, because it's not about him. It is about him, but it's not about him. Anyway, his like brother pays for him to go to France, which is kind of like, so basically, so like the idea that he's a drunk is because he's an unmedicated schizophrenic is what people believe that he had.
Yeah. I think modern is like bipolar, maybe. That's what I was seeing.
Yeah. But, undiagnosed. Mm-hmm. So he went from the Netherlands, and then he lived in Belgium, and then he lived in Paris, and then he lived in the middle of nowhere in France. Yeah, mostly his brother, Theo, just like, was like, go be happy, but also be away from me.
And like, honestly, deal with you right now.
I was gonna say,
but I would like to help you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, honestly, that's a sibling. Like, as far as siblings go, and like, in some way, like, it's probably, like, you can tell that the way folks deal with him is trash, and like, obviously, this is however many 89. It's over 100 years ago. Like, the way that they treat people who have mental health issues is trash. But the fact that like his brother did want to help him, and I think that even he could have, like, even if it wasn't like a mental health thing, like, I could see, maybe not my siblings, but I could see somebody being like, I want to help you. I feel like a moral obligation to help you as my sibling, but like, I need you to be a,
I mean, but also the funniest thing about Theo is that Theo is like a very accomplished and like respected art dealer. So he's also like in this world where he's living in, like, he's in the Netherlands, but his brother is devoted to being an artist, but everyone is like, he's trash. Terrible.
Right.
So it's like, it's one of these
really professionally.
Professionally, he's like, I mean, personally, he's like, I really love you. You're my older brother.
Yeah.
I want you to, live in your truth and be happy.
So that I can continue to pay for you.
I need you to go.
To leave. Yeah.
Like, just so that I can keep the money coming in. We're just going to have to
be out.
pretend that we don't know each other. I'm going to send you a lot of letters. Don't worry about it. We'll keep in contact.
Have you heard about this guy, Vincent?
I don't
know. Yeah, I mean, he's from the Netherlands. Van Gogh is a very popular name.
Yeah, out there. You know what I'm saying? It could be anybody. It could be the ones from over the way over there. The ones over the hill.
I might have a cousin, but we don't really talk very much.
Right.
So, they meet him outside of the cafe, and I really like the way that they, I noted this later, but I guess I can talk about it now. Because Van Gogh's work is so colorful and so light, they actually had to light this episode well. And I was like, I can see things. Like, most of season 5 is kind of the last of, like, the lightness, I would say.
Because it's they have the orange, like, TARDIS desktop. They have, like, things are generally brighter. Right. I think it's, like, it's the beginning of season 6,
it's early 6, I think.
Early 6, where it's, like, cold. And
So I, like, appreciated that we could, like...
Well, I don't know, because there's also the whole, like, when they go to America, like, that's pretty...
Right. It's, like, after that. It's, like, after America. Yeah, I guess it kind of it mostly matches the TARDIS desktop, which I think does stay until Clara gets there, which is just another notch against her, honestly.
Wait, is that true? Maybe it is. I can't remember. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I don't think... I don't know.
I
don't know, but 6, it still does get dark. Anyway, what I was saying is that I do like how they, framed all the scenes that were his paintings. So, the way that they were like, oh, look, it's the postcard that she's looking at of the cafe. And then they, it's just, like, a beautiful way that they, framed everything and lit everything to match the paintings. Where it's, like, nothing was too jarring to go from one to the other. Mm-hmm. They all match tonally within the same episode. I guess Van Gogh still has, a similar style in his paintings, but still, I liked watching them, compare. When they go to his room and it's, the room painting.
The room, yeah.
And I was just like, oh. I was just like, oh.
Yeah, the way they see that was really cool. And I think also just, like with most, episodes where they meet historical figures, having them try to hint at things. That's always funny for me.
Of all of the things.
Yeah, like Shakespeare when they're or when the doctor keeps saying, I think it's Shakespeare and Agatha Christie where the doctor keeps saying things and they're like, oh, is that mine? Oh, right. Might have to take that. Or this one, the one that reminded me the most though was Rose talking to Queen Victoria, talking about, would you say you're not amused? Because Amy's like, hey, I bought all of these sunflowers. Would you like to perhaps paint them? Wink, wink.
And he's just no.
It's like, girl, if he's gonna paint them, cool, but you could also just chill.
He was just no, they're too complicated. It's also fine. You're cute. I'll think about it.
It's also really funny because then those things are I get the Rose Queen Victoria thing, but that to me always brings to mind the question of so did Vincent paint was he always going to paint sunflowers, right? Or did he paint them because the cute girl he met that one time?
He was not going to paint those sunflowers.
Right.
Right. They suggested he was. But then I think that's one of the other things about this episode in particular that's slightly different from the one with Queen Victoria or the other historical figures is that they went specifically to see Van Gogh. The other times they just kind of ran into them and they popped up. And so because they came specifically to see Van Gogh and figure out about whatever this creature is, there's the doctor, they're directly affecting his life in a way that's a little bit more touchy, and so the doctor is very nervous about that because he's we could potentially kill him now and that would be awkward. And then also but I think because of that, they're kind of playing with the idea that I don't know how to explain it, but it's it kind of plays with the idea that what is happening may not have happened had Amy and the doctor not been there. Mm-hmm. And it kind of I don't know. It seeds them in as opposed to having them be kind of just like on the side, if that makes sense.
And
I don't see that at all, because I think that the moral of it, and we'll get, like, when we get to quotes from the TARDIS and when we get to the, is that, like, things are, he was destined for greatness.
Sure, but I'm thinking more
regardless, and things
not necessarily the big picture, but like the specific events of the episode, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So not necessarily his entire trajectory, but like specific things. And because it's specific things, they could have potentially killed. You know what I mean? Like they could have made it so that he died a year early, killed by this invisible monster, if they were careless. But a lot of the things that they affected were smaller, like the painting, like the sunflowers. That's Amy affecting his life in a way that's really concrete, and if she hadn't been there, then it wouldn't have happened, or at least that's what they're suggesting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe his, like how people regard him and, like, his reputation now, maybe that part wouldn't have changed. It'd be, like, one less painting, if that makes sense.
And I think
not really, because...
Well, not really.
I think the Doctor says this, like, that last year of his life is where we get a lot of his really great, like, the paintings at.
Right.
Well, I'm saying it wouldn't be the sunflower painting, is what they're saying.
Right.
I'm not saying that's true. That's just what they're saying.
Yeah.
Or suggesting.
And I think, in difference to some of the other historical figures, it is so late in his life that, like, he did have a lot of his famous paintings already made. Like, he did already have them. And so, because it's so late in his life and career, I think that also changes, because as Bayana was saying, it kind of it wouldn't have necessarily affected his, if he had, gotten got by the creature, it wouldn't have necessarily affected his future reputation, because so many of those works are already finished. But it just would have been like, ooh, he could have been, the way that we actually know him, as opposed to, like, missing the several paintings that he painted in that last year. But it is, like, later in his life than most of the historical figures that they run into, and I found that interesting, too.
Right. Because, it says, I'm, like, deep in this now, and I'm just going to, like, leave and go into another Van Gogh. But he completed 100 paintings and completed 200 paintings and then over 100 drawings and watercolors. And that's in that last year. And that's, like, where most of the, like, the very, bright yellow paintings that he's really known for. And then obviously he cuts his ear off at one point. So then all of those paintings.
Right.
Like, all of that happened.
Yeah, there's, like, a moment in the episode where Amy, like, picks up a knife, and then she's like, nope, you put that down. Yeah. I'm gonna put that down. Yeah. No, thank you. So, yeah, they're nerding out over him. They meet up. There's the TARDIS translator thing of, like, accents that is interesting. He's just like, are you from Holland? And she's like, no. And the Doctor's like, you already know that the TARDIS translates things.
Like, go with it. But I love that. I love that, like, those little things, because it's like a reminder that they're not speaking English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Which we lose later on, and it's always, like, really cute when that...
gets brought up.
When it's brought up, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in, like, that kind of way when, like, Amy's like, no, and it's like... Because she forgets, you know?
It's easy to. Like, if you're just always talking in the language that you are, like, accustomed to.
Right.
And everybody's talking it back to you. You're like...
English. Like,
right. And they're like, what's in English?
What's in English?
Poor Vincent thinks that Theo sent the Doctor as, like, a mental doctor. I was just like... He was just so paranoid. Because everyone... kind of thinks he's nutso, and, like, there's someone starts screaming, there's been a murder in the town, and they're all, like, throwing things at him and blaming him for, like, somehow, because he's messed up, all the weird stuff that's happening is all his fault.
Yeah.
Cool. That's fine. Cool. That makes sense.
I mean, yeah, it tracks for the time. It makes no sense, but...
Yeah. Absolutely.
They're like, everything, people don't know how to mind their business. So everything that you're doing over there directly affects what I'm doing and what's happening to my family and my people.
I do wonder about the timing. It's like he shows up, but also the creature shows up. So I wonder if, I don't know, it was like, I guess it can't really follow him because it can't see, but they just arrived at the same time.
Yeah, they don't really explain the monster. Or, like, they do, but they don't. Mm-hmm. And I think in part it's because the monster is not really the main part of the story. I think there are some parallels
and
between...
it was supposed to be a misdirect.
Yeah, and I guess there are some parallels between, like, the monster and the way that it's viewed and treated, and then the way Van Gogh is viewed and treated. But I think that, like it's not, like, its defeat or, like, it's whatever is not the final act of the of the episode. And so... It's like, it feels like it's the big thing, and then it's not. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, honestly, like, I get what they're trying to do, but I honestly don't. I think they dropped the ball on the monster a little bit, because I think that they could have, maybe, I don't know about explain, but like the thing, like the question you're asking, it's like, why would that timing be there? Why is Van Gogh, right? Why is Vincent the only one who can see it?
Yeah.
Like, what are these things? And they just kind of they just say, like, this is what it is, which is fine, but because of where they cut it off, by the time the final act of the episode comes on, I completely forgot about the monster, and that's supposed to be, like, the whole reason they went back to see him in the first place, is because of the monster. And so I feel like, and of course, like, honestly, like, obviously the story is about Vincent, it's not about the monster, but then if they're gonna have it, I think, like, they had some, like I said, they had some parallels, but they think they could have made it a little bit more, like, well-rounded, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think maybe just, like, those two questions of, like, why only he can see it. Like, can anybody else see it? Like, do you have to have... Because it was a very strong implication that, like, because of his madness, like, that's why he could see the creature and like, that...
Right.
So I wonder what, like, is there anybody else who can see it? Like, what is it? What is the reason? And then why did it show up at the same time? Like, was it with him elsewhere? And, sort of like the madness has been following him around, and people have been, like, kicking him out of places because strange things have been happening, and it's always been this creature.
Right. They and even that feels like weird. And then, and I don't know, I think about, like, the Unicorn and the Wasp, and, like, how, like, Agatha Christie was not, again, they didn't go back in time to meet Agatha Christie, but, like, and she was very much, like, she wasn't at the center of the story, like, she was in some ways, but not really, but her, like, she was still tied to the monster, you know what I mean, in terms of, like, her stories were why the monster was acting in the way that it was, but they didn't seem to be like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
So they go and stay at Vinny's house because, I really wish that the show,
he was like, oh, where are you guys staying? He was like, oh, thank you.
You're
thank
so
you.
kind.
You're so kind. What?
And his face was like, okay.
Which is just so funny to me because I get it, because they need to be close to him to, like, one, convince him and just be near him and go with him to the church and stuff. But the show literally never deals with the fact that they have an infinite TARDIS.
One-room shack.
Right, like, Vincent lives in a one-room shack. Actually, his house looks, like, well-sized. Like, I'd live there.
But, yeah, it's not a shack, but...
Yeah, but, they needed to get close to him. So they go to his house and eat all his food and put their shoes on his couch. And I wondered, so they get to his house, and obviously they're, like, panning around. He's got all his paintings at the house. And I really wonder, like, did the BBC have to get rights to all of those paintings? Because, like, they'd be owned by someone. I don't think they're public domain works, right?
I have no idea, actually.
It's just, like, a random curiosity I have.
But they should be in the public domain, though. He died in 1889, 1890.
His estate probably owns...
But I guess Theo's children.
Yeah. Like, it probably went to his family, and, like, each individual painting probably went to a different place. So the ones that they showed were the ones that they could get access to.
I would think it's more like creative license. And again, you have to remember that the BBC is public, which is, you know, why it's being murdered by Brexit. It's publicly funded. So the prints and stuff, like the TARDIS, the exploding TARDIS kind of thing,
Sure,
that might...
an original work, though, of the TV series.
Yeah, but it's, like, heavily based off of like, they might have had to do something like that because they're selling that.
I think it's under whatever the, you know, a transformative work.
Yeah, but then I think that also probably applies to the show. Because all of the
lawyers who listen to our podcast who have the answer to this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would personally, you know, in my however many years of legal experience, think that because it's a plot point in a major show, that in and of itself is a transformative work.
So the Invisible Beast, like, shows up at Vincent's crib, and Amy's like, yikes. So Vincent starts to, like, fight it off, because the doctor's like, okay, so I think he might actually have some... Oh, it's a real thing! Okay, cool, yes, okay. He's not crazy. Great. All right, let's fight it. We got it.
I mean, he is
just
crazy,
swinging a stick around.
He's right about that.
He's right about this one.
And the doctor's just swinging a stick around in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Like
there's also a little...
He's flailing.
Right. I mean, if we're going to judge Vincent.
Right. The doctor, especially 11. Who 11? Yeah. He's a special one. Love him.
Love him so much.
So the doctor goes back to the TARDIS to be like, okay, so what do I have in here that could help me figure this out? And he has another machine that goes ding when there's stuff, just a different dinger. So we find out that the beast is called a Crephaeus, which is a great word. I kind of wish we knew more about these creatures, because the thing that we do learn about it feels very...
Come back.
Yeah. The thing that we learn about it is that they are, they usually, like, travel in packs and are very brutal creatures, but, you know, this one has been abandoned by its pack and has been, like, going around murdering things, and obviously this is the sort of first way that we see it, like, how it's presented, and then we're told to question that. I guess we're not really told to question it. It's just wrong in the end.
They just, yeah. That's what I'm
Which
saying.
Which is where the parallel kind of goes.
I think that's
sideways.
my thing with the monster portion of this story too, is that has been done better in the show when they like think that this thing is, because the first thing the doctor says when he sees the face in the painting is like, that's the look of pure evil or something like that, or like, I know evil when I see it, and so. But the way that they get to the realization that it's just like the scared creature, it's just clunky. Because like in that moment where he realizes that it's like, oh, it's abandoned, it's from this like super brutal thing, and he's like, he's kind of like, oh, I can't wait to take. No, they don't even find out that he's blind until the very end.
Yeah.
But in the middle somewhere, he's like, oh, you poor thing. But then it's also like, we still got to kill it. So it's like a weird kind of, I don't know. The arc of that was like, it was clunkier than has been done in other episodes, I guess.
Right, because I had the thought of, like, the doctor loves his lonely creatures who are very much like him, but this was the plot of The Beast Inside. The Beast Below.
Yes.
Basically. It's like, oh, we have to, like, hurt this creature because it's, if we don't, you know, bad things will happen. And then it's like, no, it's a kind thing. It's not trying to hurt anybody.
Right. And like, honestly, maybe that's the other thing. And like, honestly, like, it's not like I watched The Beast Below before watching this episode, but I think like they're close enough that it was already done well in the season to then come and like do it like right.
And
but you know, Moffat loves
why they also dropped the ball on it, because they're like, well, we already did this, but we just need a good parallel.
But for me, I'm like, the doctor didn't learn. Like, the doctor can makes the same mistakes, but usually there's a little bit more time between them. Sometimes it's a full regeneration before he's like, oh shit, I've done forgot. It's been 100 years. But that was a good, 2 weeks. And he was like, oh, whoops, forgot not to judge a book by its cover again. My fault. Now you're dead. My bad.
So Amy does the sunflower thing. She, like, I don't know, like, goes around the Vincent, like, puts all the sunflowers that she could find in Vincent's backyard, like, in vases and stuff. She's like, so sunflowers, let's paint them with me there. Thanks.
How fun. And it's, yeah.
Like,
but, I mean, it's also, like, the doctor talking about the church. Wouldn't you like to paint it? And it's like maybe
on
chill a little bit.
I mean, Vincent's like, you are very religious. Like, no, I just feel like
I just want the church is the place to be. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's like a cool, it's a cool place. So they decide that they're gonna go to the church, but later in the day, but Vincent has an episode, and he's like crying in his room, and so the doctor gives lots of good quotes. 11 bars? Doctor bars? Doctor bars. And then they decide that they're gonna leave, because Vincent's like, no, I can't do this. I don't want you here. Please leave. They're gonna leave, and then Vinny rebounds, and he puts on his best straw hat, and he gets all his tools, and they're going to the church. He notices that Amy is sad, and Amy's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, you're crying though, like right now. She's like, am I? Oh my goodness. And it's like one of those moments where I like noticed that her nails are always done. Like
her nails are always done.
Like really elaborately. Like almost Viana levels.
No, she has a good like red and a good blue, maybe like a purple, but they're always freshly manicured. And why have a time machine? Sorry, why have a time machine if not to like take a break, go get your manicure, and then go back and fight monsters? I do want to like back up real quick. I just realized I forgot it was in my notes, but my notes aren't. Whatever. So the moment where the doctor goes to get Vincent and then he's having like a moment, I thought it was interesting that like later the doctor, he's like, he tries to talk to him about his depression, and then it's like obviously not the right time because he's like, bro, we're trying to
working.
We're literally trying to lure like this beastie, so let's like another time.
Keep talking.
But I think like the way that the doctor is kind of unable to, or not unable to, he's having a hard time like saying the right things, or like, you know what I mean? Like he's like trying to talk about hope, and Vincent is like, I can't, like it's not something that he can hear in that moment. Yeah. And then part of me is like, I think that that's something that's very true for a lot of people. But I also wonder how much Moffat was trying to play that up as like a Time Lord thing, because the doctor is also not like, he's not great. Like when humans have certain emotions, he be saying things and you're like,
to like pat you on the head, like, oh
yeah, and you're just like, maybe not now. So I was like, so that part I thought was interesting to me was the way that he tried to handle it and then it not working, and him being like, okay, maybe I should just go.
Yeah, words of encouragement are sometimes his love language, but it's really like taking somebody on an epic journey. Like that's his love language.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's epic journey, and also he does like the epic monologue. So he's ready to just have the full thing where he's like,
ready to go
whole entire nations are built on hope type shit. And then like, but that's not like what's needed.
Is honestly the thing that I love most about this episode too, is because, hi, spoiler alert, I suffer from depression. It is the most annoying fucking thing in the world when people are like, hope, hold on to it. And you're like, bitch, I don't want hope. I want to die. Like, that's what I want. And I feel like it's like a very, I don't know. I feel like when people talk about this episode, the thing that they love is like the
epic monologue.
Monologue, but also the like hope will out and good things will overcome bad things. And I just really love the realistic portrayal of, and that's not enough sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so I think that is like the thing I like a lot about that whole monologue is like, that is the doctor's love language, and Vincent's like, I see what you're trying to do,
but it's just not.
Go away.
Yeah.
And so I do like I like the realism in that, like, not that you shouldn't try, to like help pull someone out of that, but that like words aren't always the thing that's needed, or it's not always going to work. Mm-hmm. Right. I like having. Oh wow, I sound like Bayana. I like having the doctor have, a big flowery monologue and it fails.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Because, like, the whole point is that in the end, their presence, the Doctor's words, their ability to take him to the future and show him the thing that he was suffering from, that he was concerned about the most, that, like, no one would care about his art. Like, they took him to the future and it was just like, no, you're the greatest painter of all time, literally. And it still didn't work.
Not that it didn't work. I mean, that's, part of what he said.
Right.
It doesn't change the fundamental reality of his situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It doesn't heal him. It's not a pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of thing. It's not like you can be cured by knowing that people appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. So they go to the church. They paint
Finally.
the church. They paint the
doctor's
church.
been waiting on this moment.
The doctor's been waiting on this moment, and then they get there, and he's like, why is time like this? Is it always like this? In this order? Why would you do this? Why didn't we just hop in the TARDIS and just go 5 hours in the future? Why are we here? I don't understand. And then he cannot shut up. And I'm just like, I love 11 so much.
One of the things
I shouted at the screen. I was like,
11.
I love 11.
Yeah.
I love 11 so much because, and I love that Moffat does this a few times in which it's like, can you just calm down? And he's like, I can't sit still.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this so?
It's like, why are we doing this? We could be moving.
We could be moving. Let's move.
He's just like Michelangelo when he was doing this. I was like, okay, so this is what we're gonna do. He was like Picasso. Okay, with like I was trying to get him to just be, steady hand. And Van Gogh was like, why are your arms around me? Like, can you let me? Can I have some personal? You're in my bubble. Personal space is very important. The doctor's like,
also
but
not talking.
Man,
we are in a church.
Silence is golden.
Right,
yeah.
like we are in a church. This atmosphere is sacred, and you are
the real problem was that the doctor needed a nap. Amy should have just Amy should have gave him like a juice box or something and a blanket and been like, go under the tree. We'll wake you up when it's time.
Yeah,
because man.
So good though.
The doctor as the infant is so fitting.
So the creature shows up, and the doctor's like, "I will handle it. I'm a Time Lord, and you stay here." And then Amy has big Gryffindor energy, and it's just like, "So I'm gonna let him get inside and go left, and then I'm gonna count to 5, and then I'm gonna go on after him." And Vincent seems to like that. She's just like, "You go after him, aren't you?" And she's like, "Well, duh." So they see the creature, they fight the creature, they talk to the creature, they realize that the creature is not an evil beastie, but a blind beastie. They kill the creature, and...
That's the other part, sorry. That's the other part that is wild to me.
You apologize, that's why we're here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So in terms of, like, back to, like, the monster part of it being weird, is that they find out that this is, like, a vulnerable creature and then kill him. It's not like they kill him and then find out, oh, snap, he was blind. It's like they figure all this stuff out, and then he gets, like, stabbed with the damn... Yeah, it's like, wait, y'all could have found another way at this point. Once you figure that, like, that part was, like... Mm-hmm. It was like, wait, I don't understand.
Yeah, because every time I watch it, I feel like they're like, oh, we killed, they stab it, and then they're like, oh crap, it was blind. But it's actually the other way around.
It's the other way around. And, like, Vincent does say, like, oh, it was an accident. So he does, like, Vincent didn't mean to kill, only to maim or seriously injure. So, like, that's basically what he says. And he's like, I feel bad because I killed it.
Okay.
He was, but that's what it is. It's very much like, oh, I didn't mean to. I was just trying to stop it. But it's like, you came at it with the damn pokey thing, like like you went at it to kill. The way you charged at that thing, you was trying to kill it. Like the Crefast got murked, and I just feel like it didn't have to happen that way. It was it felt like they got to that point.
They could have written it,
and I don't know, I can't remember who wrote this episode, because I wasn't paying attention. But like whoever, it felt like they got to that point and were like, we just have to wrap this up. So
yeah,
boom, it's dead. As opposed to being like, oh, maybe we can like start off. Yeah, it felt more. It felt like let's just wrap this up so we can get back to the main part of the story.
Richard Curtis.
Yeah, that was yeah. Okay, I think that's all I have on that because honestly, I didn't realize I had that many feelings about it.
The monster.
Okay. Most of my notes don't even say anything about it, so
this makes sense. It was written by Richard Curtis.
Curtis.
4 Weddings and a Funeral, Notting Hill, Bridget Jones's Diary, Love Actually, Time, War Horse.
It all makes sense now. It all makes sense now.
It's like this romantic episode, you know, with love and the countryside.
Passion.
Yeah.
So he's like, the creature can go. Like,
he's just like, this is what I do.
Fuck with her face. Fuck them kids.
Co-creator of Mr. Bean,
well,
Blackadder.
He's like, you know,
he's only written this episode of Vincent of Doctor Who.
Fantasy is not really his thing.
Right.
So he's like, I'm a monster.
He wrote,
right? I'll do that in Doctor Who, right? Monster.
It's like, that's not why we're here. Like, you hired me because you want my feels and not because I'm good at the sci-fi. Mm-hmm. But also, interestingly enough, he wrote
yesterday.
He wrote what?
He wrote yesterday and War Horse. Whoa.
Oh.
Talk about feels. I hated that.
He also very interestingly wrote the #1 Ladies Detective Agency pilot, which is only funny to me because that's a Jill Scott show. So, you know, the creature's dead. It's gone. It's over. So, you know, they're hanging out.
Now Vincent's ready to settle down. He's like, you know what?
I found love.
I'm ready to have all of the ginger babies.
Truly. But honestly,
like,
the way that they're all laying in the field, holding hands.
It's very Hakuna Matata.
Yes.
It's very much the great kings of the past live up there. Just kidding. It's really, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I always thought it was great balls of gas, not trillions of miles away. Like, that's basically what it is.
That's true. Especially,
but it's very pretty.
In the new one, they're, like, laying on each other in, like, a very, like, comfortable way.
But I mean, like, even in the original Lion King, they're laying that, like, in that, like, circle. They're not holding hands, but they don't really have hands to hold, so.
Not holding even the cartoon versions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Mufasa shows up and says, Vincent, remember. But yes, Vincent wants to have all of Amy's babies, like, all of them. Like, so many babies.
He said by the dozen. Like, wow. That's intense. Like, there's a difference between like, so, you know, what's his name? That man's name was Porridge. He asked Clara, he asked Clara to marry him in Nightmare in Silver. It's one of the, like,
Porridge?
It's one of the few Cyberman episodes that I like.
His name is Porridge.
His name is Porridge.
Flitwick.
That's why I laughed. But, yes. But he asked Clara to marry him. And he's, like, this prince, and he got a lot of money, and, like, whatever. But, like, a very simple, like, y'all just met, so it's still a little, like, okay, but marriage. You know?
A stepping stone.
Start there. You will. My man said, we'll have children by the dozen. I'm like, so that means more than 1 dozen, right? Like, if it's by the dozen, that means you try to get her with twins at least 6 times. And then one-offs maybe 6 more times. And that just feels like...
a lot of work for Amy.
Yeah, like, chill. Are you putting in any work? Are you doing anything, Vincent?
I mean, he's putting in some work.
Love it.
But for how long? Is it reciprocal? Is it balanced is the question. He's not putting in the work. For how long do you have to
pay for these babies,
you know how many
Vincent?
months that is?
How you gonna pay for all these babies, Vincent? You can't even afford a drink at the bar.
You got him.
200 months.
You got him.
He didn't have money for the drink.
I'm sorry.
It ain't come in yet. His PayPal ain't come in.
So in order to, is the word gesticulate? I feel like that's the word. A baby. That's like almost 10 months. That's 40 weeks. And he's trying to do that over a dozen times.
He's out here doing math.
That's like, you know how many months you gotta be pregnant?
Oh, Captain Literal strikes again.
It's been a while since we had one, right?
He was saying his point was...
No. Like, that is 11 years of pregnancy.
A lot of your babies.
Did you not 12 years, that's a dozen years of pregnancy is
what it is. He is not putting in enough work for a dozen.
He's an artist. He uses flowery language. Yeah. His point was,
I think he got excited because he's
excited.
Ginger mating, and she's out here, and she's cute, and she's from Holland, just like him, and so he got very excited. Is all I'm saying.
It's true.
Very, very true. So
he could have just said 2. You know, that's all I'm saying.
No, at the time, people just had babies. Like, what else was you doing?
The point is, Vincent was wilding.
Yeah.
Amy was like, I'm going back to my time. I'll see you on the flippity flop. I still messes with you, but like...
I mess with you deep. I'm going to buy one of your paintings. I'm going to hang it up.
I'm going to go back to the museum right now. Right? Matter of fact.
Your number one fan, however.
Multiple... Have that many babies? She was definitely like, yikes. That's one of those where you're like, he's great. And then you're just like, whoa.
Whoa, bit intense though.
Escalated so quickly.
Lovely person. A little intense. A little much. Yeah. So then they decide to take Vincent back in the TARDIS and show him the real impact of his work, and that should, and the hope is that will, when he's feeling not even underappreciated, not appreciated at all. Yeah. And like he should quit, and that no one cares about his paintings, and he's never going to be a success. It's also a funny thing. Sorry. It might be right before they come or right after they come. Gauguin comes to Avon and visits him, and Vincent's like, "Oh, we gonna do this like artist colony thing here, like." All the colors. This place is like a creative gold mine. And Gauguin is like, cool, you're nuts. I'm gonna go. And so there's that point too. So I don't know if it happens right before or right after in the timeline, but it happens in around this time. So he's feeling like the general public don't appreciate what he's doing, and then like other artists who he appreciates their work also don't mess with him. Mm-hmm. So taking him to see like his long-lasting impact is like even more beautiful, because he's just at this point in his life in which it's like, I have this passion and need to create, and no one cares.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they like have Bill Nye like gush over him while he like stands there and cries in public, which it happens.
Sometimes it's that way. Yeah, and then Amy wants to go back and see all the new paintings after they drop him off, and
I feel like she should have.
There are none.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel like she should have been hip to the game by now. That like. The doctor tries not, like, the point is that they don't want to mess with stuff, and that they usually don't, and that if they do, it's a huge deal, and so that he would have said something. Well,
I think it's one of those things. Amy often repeats time can be rewritten. That's like the thing that she holds on to all the time. Like, and I guess,
and it happens.
I don't know. I'd have to like keep track of that next time I do like a full rewatch, but I think that's a thing that she kind of holds on to, and maybe it's in part because her particular timeline is literally being rewritten at the moment, and then in the and pretty much her entire time. So in some ways it's like you're not hip to it yet, but also like it tracks with just how she tends to she repeats it so much it starts to get annoying after a while. But like
I was just like, girl, I think the doctor would have a bigger reaction if you'd actually changed everything to that extent,
or at least be much more
showy about it. Maybe
not showy about it. I think he would be even more cautious if like time could be rewritten that easily.
I just meant in this particular instance of like he'd be like, come, let me show you the additional paintings, because we saved his, we, like, extended his life by 60 years or whatever. Like, and he was just like, yeah, we're just gonna go back to the same exhibit.
He's like, we've done this now.
3 times.
Yeah.
I can show you the entire universe, and you wanna go back? Okay. There's nothing new there, by the way, ma'am. Although there is stuff new, because the monster's gone, and the sunflowers are dedicated to Amy.
And I was wondering, from her husband.
Her husband.
Who's been?
Her baby daddy.
Right? I don't think the vase with the sunflowers, it says Vincent on it, the original.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So but I always was like, is there a painting in which he writes Amy somewhere, and that's what gets them the idea to do this episode? Or
I thought that too, but then I forgot to look it up.
But because I was like, I know that painting doesn't say Amy, but like, is there an Amy painting? But I don't know. I like.
Yeah, because that could have been one of those moments where she was like, "The Amy was me all along." Like,
And they're just like, "Wow, this really worked in our favor. This is a great idea."
Yeah, I mean, it'd be clever. Okay, are we going to quotes from the TARDIS?
Let's.
I think
from the
so.
TARDIS.
Because there's no black people in this episode. Unlike Vampires of Venice.
Mm.
And there's a black person in 11th Hour. It's just,
Is there?
Yeah, he's one of the, I think he's got, in the coma. Very fleeting. He doesn't have any lines. But he's there.
I'm like, I'm not aware of that one, but okay.
No line.
Sure.
It's an extra, but it's fine. It counts.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I mean, perhaps we could talk about cultural appropriation and Prisoner Zero taking coma patients and using their, I don't know. I'm just saying words. Let's move on.
This essay,
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Anyway.
So I just want to point out, so we all watch the show separately, and then we add our quotes from the TARDIS, and most of the time I don't add anything, or we all choose kind of similar quotes, because we're similar people-ish. But in this first quote, I got into our doc, and I'm assuming Constance typed in this quote, and I had to add the beginning, the Vincent part. So, it's so clear you cannot help, and when you leave, and everyone always leaves, I will be left once more with an empty heart and no hope. It's my experience that there is, surprisingly, always hope. So it's my experience that there is surprisingly always hope. Constance. Of course you did. Leaving out the important part. Everyone always leaves.
Okay. Not gonna... Okay. I won't do the thing, but I'm the other side of that, so I don't know what else to say besides I operate on the idea that there's always hope.
You have a plan, don't you? No, it's a thing. It's like a plan, but with more grayness.
There are lots of doctor quotes where it's just like, a plan.
Have a plan.
So about that. I don't
plan
know
is
what
a
plan
strong
is.
word.
I
Yeah.
don't know what that
There's
is.
one in Angels. I don't know the name of it. There's some Angels one, but when we first meet River. Yeah, Byzantium. Where he's like, do you have a plan? No, but I'm still talking.
Right. Yes. It's like, it'll get there. Yeah. Once I talk it out, it'll be, by the time I end the sentence, it will be there.
Right.
Great.
Right. Let me keep going, and a plan will then...
Don't interrupt me. Is this how time normally passes? Really slowly, in the right order? And, as someone who goes to work, just like, wow, I resonate with that so many days. I'm just like, is it really? Must we? Is this the order? Like, it can't go any faster. Is it going slower? I feel like it might be going slower. It's like, it's only 2. I'm just like, are scientists calculating time right? Like, I feel like some days are literally longer than others, and I don't know what that's about. And then sometimes other people are experiencing the day in the same slowness as you, so it's not just you, and I'm like, no, there's a conspiracy out there somewhere.
But you're not armed. But I am. With what? Overconfidence, this, and a small screwdriver. I'm absolutely sorted.
Oh, and this is also one of those episodes. I don't know if it's the first one because, again, I haven't seen the episodes before this in a long time, where he's just like waving the screwdriver around and it's literally doing nothing. He's just like, he's like, did that work?
Right. He's asking Vincent, and he's just like, no, I don't even know what you're trying to do. Like, what is he actually trying to do? I don't understand how the screwdriver works, so I'm just like, I never know. Unless it's, like, actually on something metal or technology where I can, like, wave it away, like, okay, fine.
Like, 11
but when he's trying to use it on, like, a sentient being, I'm just like, well, what are you doing?
I think it's funny because that's a thing that, like, 11 specifically does. Like, he does it in the, when they go to save... Is it when they go to save Amy in the premiere of season 6? And, like, he's back to back with River, and she's, like, actually shooting. And he's just, like, waving the thing around, and you're like, you're literally doing nothing.
Like, maybe he's enhancing her bullets.
I know that he can. There have been episodes where he's using his screwdriver and he can, like, catalog what the creature actually is.
Right.
That doesn't do anything.
Yeah. It's like you're not doing
information.
But at this point, you're not like, like, did I defeat it? No.
But also then sets up another one of my favorite moments in Who during the 50th, in which the War Doctor is like, it's a screwdriver. What are we doing?
What are y'all doing? You keep pointing it around at people like it's nothing. You're not going to do it.
It's a tool. You're building shelves? What's going on?
It can't even build shelves. Shelves.
It's wood. I know. What is the point of the sonic screwdriver?
I think it doesn't do wood.
It doesn't do wood. It kind of is just. I like it as just like an informational tool, but they do use it as a pseudo weapon a lot. But I'm like, but it literally can't.
But even when they don't use it as a weapon, like the things they use it for are. I mean, maybe.
I just never.
The sonic waves are very good at loosening bolts, and then things go faster or they stop. Can loosen and tighten bolts.
You do the thing, and then you're like, "Oh, now I can open the door." That's true.
Yeah, it's great with doors usually, and like,
not the door wood.
I think he can like help people. Like if they have something wrong with their body, he like scans them and like it's like, "Oh, you're stable now." I think it does that sometimes, but in general, I don't even know how they're reading it, so we're just going to skip past that part.
Hold my hand, doctor. Try and see what I see. We're so lucky we're still alive to see this beautiful world. Look at the sky. It's not dark and black and without character. The black is in fact deep blue, and over there, lights are blue, and through the blueness and the blackness, the winds swirling through the air and then shining, burning, bursting through. The stars, can you see how they roll their light? Everywhere we look, complex magic of nature blazes before our eyes.
Bangers! TARDIS bangers!
Listen.
TARDIS bars.
The dude was nominated for an Oscar. Like, now that I know who wrote this.
Right, it's just like, this makes so much more sense now.
Notting Hill, I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking her to love me. Come on.
You know?
He wrote this shit in his sleep.
He was like, oh, you need a little episode of Doctor Who? I got you. Like, oh, Moffat, put in the little animal part. I don't know. The space part. I'll write the rest of it.
You know.
But there's a magic beast. You got that. You got it.
You got that part.
Yeah. Just
and then the DC does song.
Yeah. But I am here for the art and the words. The way I see it, every life is a pile of good things and bad things. The good things don't always soften the bad things, but vice versa. The bad things don't necessarily spoil the good things or make them unimportant, and we definitely added to his pile of good things. If I got tattoos, some part of it would be it.
I was like, do you get the whole thing?
Yeah, no.
I always think about that because I
probably get like a visual representation of that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just get it in like than God Cat 2.
Gallifrey.
But I've always been a Renoir girl myself, but I don't want white people on my body.
That part.
Yeah.
There is that.
Check out blackgirlscreate.org for all stuff that we do. Follow us on Twitter at WeBlackandNerds. Use the hashtag Tarbis for all conversations related to and pertaining to and other things about Doctor Who. Join our Slack channel where we have a channel dedicated to conversations about Who. It's basically just come and like talk to us about Doctor Who. And then also rate and review us on iTunes and where podcasts are found.
Tarbis is a part of Hard Knock Media. We've joined the Nerds of Color podcast network, including the podcast Hard Knock Life, Southern Fried Asians, DC TV Classics, Ask By Girls, Desi Geek Girls, We're Not All Ninjas, and That Moment. You can check out all of these podcasts at hardknockmedia.com.
So thank you for listening. Be sure to stay tuned for the Twitter poll to vote on which episode we discuss next from season 6. Team Robin is Let's Kill Hitler. Team Bayana is The Doctor's Wife. And Team Me is The Wedding of River Song, which, you know. So we're gonna do the thing. I'm not prepared to do this.
You ready, Robin?
But, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I should prepare these better, but I'm ready.
Okay. Ready, set, let's kill Hitler.
We got 2 black girls, and they're both Melody Pond. Boom. Vote for it. Vote for it.
Oh,
We're putting Hitler in the closet. We got that weird robot-y thing that ends up in the end ruining the season because it don't make no goddamn sense. Doctor dies, but then doesn't die. And again, 2 black girls, both Melody Pond. River Song. We got it. Let's go.
All right.
Okay.
That was funny. That was a good one.
Rihanna, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, and go.
Okay. Vote the Doctor's Wife. We go to a bubble universe outside of our universe, except it's not really a soap bubble. We potentially maybe are going to meet other Time Lords, except, oops, not really. But we do meet the TARDIS, and she talks, and so that's awesome. And then Rory dies again, so that's cool. I mean, it's not cool, but that's a thing. It's a theme. You know what I'm saying? I think he dies twice. We see...
Okay.
Not really, but it's an illusion. Anyway, we also get to see the Tens desktop. We got flashbacks. We got the Doctor talking to the TARDIS, and the TARDIS being a woman and running around and bite people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gave you a couple extra seconds because Robin said a thing, but it's over. No.
I just forgot that Rory might have died.
Rory always dies.
He always dies. It's kind of...
I know, and I can't remember all of the
No,
time.
you can't. Yeah, it's impossible to keep track.
Oh, no,
because sometimes
I just assume he dies.
It's literally like, it's just like one off. Oh, he dead? Oh, okay.
But he dead, though. But he is.
But he did.
But he is.
But he is. But he ain't. He honestly is as dead as Chadwick in that episode.
All right, Team Connie, the Wedding of River Song. Ready, set, go.
So, guys, I have no idea what happens in this episode. Like, I've watched it several times, but I have no idea what happens in this episode. But it's wacky, and you know, all of history is happening at the same time. That part I know happens. And River Song is our designated black girl of the episode. I don't care what the historical records say. And, you know, there's kissing and, you know, curly-haired River. And, you know, we just go watch it. Let's just watch it, you know?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got. It's fine.
I got 2 black girls, and they're both River Song, so I win.
So, you know, vote.
I win. We'll see you next month where we will be reviewing Let's Kill Hitler, or I will be quitting.
I thought you said you quit on campaigning.
I mean, but still, give it to me.
You have to earn the vote, Robin.
Give it to me.
Earn the vote.
No. Affirmative action.
I don't.
We're all black girls.
I need a quota.
Oh my gosh.
This is ageism.
Is it?
Is it?
I'm 107. I don't know how the Twitter works. Give it to me.
You're a community and social media manager. It is your job.
It really is your
Give
job.
it to me.
The black girls have the box.